Hello, hello. How are you guys? Welcome to the stream. I am your host, Haunted Goose, and welcome to our first ever Wake 'em Wednesday, where we explore the dark arts of digital and traditional media. So yes, thank you guys so much for a shout out to a lovely follower and member who donated $5 to the stream. Thank you so much. It's always really sweet. I've never had a donation before, but then I got like the alert uh, over the weekend, or I guess like not even the weekend on what are we, Wednesday? Of course we're Wednesday because it's Wake 'em Wednesday. Yesterday, sorry, time has eluded me. Um, I received the donation alert, and thank you so much. It was by an anonymous follower, so I would love to give you a shout out on the stream or do a commission or something like that, just because I feel you're contributing to the stream, and I would love to either do something, or I feel very bad, like just to take your money without at least giving you a commission of some sort, either traditionally or digitally. But thank you so much, whichever listener did that. Your contribution will definitely go into updating a lot of the things on the stream. We really appreciate it, especially with the new addition of the fur babies. It's been very helpful for that. And in case you hear some sniffing or snoffing in the background, one of our fur babies today was a little misbehaving, and uh, I think it was due to separation anxiety. It was definitely on my watch, and but I wanted to be a little bit more attentive, so they'll be joining us on the stream. So if there's any lag or interruption or anything as far as um, what we'll be working on, I might just put a note here in the chat. So just be a little patient. This stream would really appreciate it, just because we're going through a little bit of a tough day today with anxiety. So I'll just be sure to like lift my mic and just tell you guys on the chat. But I also wanted to say thank you guys so much for the Instagram vote that you guys did on the background that we're going to work on today. It was between two different cottages, and it was torn between, I guess, one of the more spookier ones, and then one that was, I searched and stuff, that's like a fairy cottage. So you guys are leaning towards more of the fairy aesthetic. So I'm not gonna lie, like I secretly really wanted that one, but they were both like kind of something that I've been wanting to study because, believe it or not, buildings and structure infrastructure are not something that I've really had much practice on. So I thought it would be something really fun to kind of study together. But here, especially lately, we've been doing like a lot of traditional studies, so it'll be super nice to get back on to the digital one. So, um, here I already pulled up our reference, which you, anytime you do a photo reference of any sort, I definitely recommend you guys kind of study the actual photo first, break it down into the shapes that you would want more or less, and then go ahead and draw it freehand. Just because, especially anything that has a lot to do with measurements and um, like heavily relies on basically uh, symmetry, it's a good thing to, especially hands are one, feet, shoes, clothes. Definitely really study your photo first before just going on ahead, because you'd be surprised like how um, you can really miss little details or get lost in the details instead of looking at the overall shape of something before you go ahead and freehand it. So what I did was is that, oh, in case you guys were wondering like where the reference came from, I put it right here in the chat. And what we're going to do is actually like study the photo first. You can do this one of two ways when it comes digitally. You can, or traditionally, because I recommend it for both, um, that you can either print out the photo and trace it, like kind of looking at what the major shapes and break it down that way, or you can use a program kind of what I'm using here, Fire Alpaca, upload the image or the photograph that you took onto a separate layer and then make it like lower the opacity. So I can show you guys like how I did that really quick. But this is an excellent way to study your photograph, so kind of breaking it down into the shapes that you want before going ahead and freehanding the whole thing, because you'd be surprised at what you may or may not want to keep from the major shapes and stuff like that, or at least that finding your own style with it instead of just going ahead and like freehanding it. So studying it, definitely like recommend before, and also choosing a reference. A lot of the times I have that with hands or something like that, where just by studying the reference, I kind of change up the like posing or something like that. So doing that a little bit beforehand before diving in into the drawing is pretty helpful. So just to show you guys that are new into the Fire Alpaca scene, that's like the program that I'm using right here. So basically what you do is that you take your photo, so right here, you drag it. So basically I had this photo already onto my desktop. You drag it on over here where the layers are, and then you drop it, and then it already makes it into a whole new layer. Now, this is a new tool that I didn't even know existed. I actually had to look it up, and thankfully, the tutorial that I specifically looked at that helped me out was Leslie Lou Marie. She's a great channel that I definitely recommend if you have any technical Fire Alpaca questions. But in case the reference that you dragged on here is either too big or not the size that you want, or you just kind of want to play with it a little bit, you make it into a new layer. You select and then you transform. Now, because I'm on a PC, there is a hotkey for it. So there's a Control T. I believe if you're in a Mac, it's like a different, if you're using like a MacBook or something, it's a different set key. So you can actually look onto your program and see what hotkeys for that. And then what you do is that you use basically your mouse to drag from the top and then from the sides to size it the way that you would like. Now, depending on the image or your reference, you can actually change up. And this goes, by the way, for if like you're drawing anything and you would want to like resize, let's say the eye or the eyebrows or hairline, line work, whatever, this would work too. The only thing is, you can either use, let's say if you want to um, just resize a certain section of it, you can use the select tool, and outline the specific part um, that you want to resize, or you can just use uh, the hotkey to do it for the whole entire layer. It's honestly a lot easier if you just select the area and make it into a new layer, and then just manipulate it that way. So then you don't mess up like, or basically your transform tool doesn't transform everything else in that layer. So yeah, you can definitely do that. So let's say for example, let me see if I can I go into this layer, let's say for example, and let's make it like a crazy color. See, da da da. So, oop, oh right, because let's put that layer up here. Okay, and let's make it this crazy color, right? So then we're gonna get our select tool right here, And I believe that's when we can use our transform. There we go. And then that will, then we can do that. So just showing you guys like your options. So you can either do it for the entire layer. So I'll show you guys what I mean. Because sometimes I say things and I would rather show you. So here's the entire layer, right? It's just this squiggle line. And then let's say we add another squiggle somewhere over here. Oops, sorry. Oh my, the scandal. Alrighty. So we can have our select tool here. And then I believe that's when we can transform. And then it'll just do that. Or if you want the entire layer, so including the blue and the pink, then you just select transform and then it includes those both those lines because you just selected like the whole layer. But if you want that just to fix that blue line, for example, then you can just use your select tool here and then like outline that as you wish and then do all of that stuff. Definitely let me know if you want me to slow down on that explanation. It was just something fun that I learned today while I was doing that. So as far as a reference, so I want to basically shrink down this reference to see like where I would want the placement on my piece. So let's do, it's like the whole layer. So select and then transform and then do that, place that over here, and then basically lower the opacity. Oh, sorry, wait, forgot one step. I apologize. See, I forgot this too. And basically when you are done, so you shrunk this down to like where you want, and it's in the place that you would want for your reference, just to more or less know where you would want it. Then you click OK. Yeah, I forgot that part. So for studying a reference, I would definitely recommend to lower the opacity just because then you can see kind of how it's placed on to your piece as far as background and stuff like that. We're just gonna delete that because we already had that. But yeah, what I did ahead of time was sizing the background. I did that on another program that I always recommend, which is Inkscape. It's just like an editing tool, basically for uh, separate for shapes and lettering and stuff. It's just something that I've used for longer. And what's cool about it is that it can export images in a transparent background, which is super helpful. But yeah. So what I'm just gonna do is look at my reference and break it down into like simple shapes, just so then when I freehand it, I kind of know what I want to keep and then what I don't. So at this point, I'm basically just looking at the photo. I'm not worried about lighting or coloring just yet. That'll be like for uh, the um, like later on in the drawing. I'm just basically just looking at the major shapes and noticing that my pencil tool is too big. Yeah, I'm wondering if I want to keep like that curve or have it straight. Probably what I would do is go in. So what I'm doing here is just looking at like the shapes that I want to like stay in the background, that I want to have in the foreground. So anytime you're looking at a reference, it's good if you do break it down as simple as possible, especially if you're like me and you're a beginner. The more details that you do put when it comes to a piece in the early stages, the a little more lost, I guess you are um, potentially going to be once you go and freehand something. So what I like to do is just do it in easy steps first. So I wouldn't, let's say for example, start with outlining the individual, I believe they're called shingles. But what I'm doing is kind of filling in where I would place the basic shape of the placement. So not drawing every single individual one just yet. So then I get the idea of where I would place things like the roof, the pillars, things like that. So the next thing that I see are definitely like the triangle shape, and then going in probably for the pillars. So I'll probably do that next. I might lift my mic at some point too, just because I think I'm going to be silent for a little bit. Yeah. Yeah, this is mostly just me figuring out shapes and but yeah, in case you guys were ever have any questions as far as like studying a reference, um, definitely don't leave it just like that. Like add, if this is the time where you kind of want to add things or add little details or your flair or anything like that, I would just wait until you've got the basic shape down first and then add like your spin and stuff to it. Um, because if you, yeah, I've been guilty of that because you get so excited, that you just want it to be your own so fast, but it is important to get like the idea. So it's kind of like I want it to look like basically a house before I make it like my house, if that makes sense. I'm trying to see like what color, because I want it to be a different color. So then, yeah, there we go. So then I can look at this later. Okay, so I'm happy with the triangle. So what I'm just gonna go in. Yeah, those need to be thinner, a little thinner. And possibly, I do like that interesting shape too, where it makes like a tiny triangle there. So I definitely want to like keep that. And then also that little detail of the rectangle is nice too. Yeah, so it's almost like a little bit of a box here. Okay. Yeah, and I definitely like the window there too. Probably what I'll do next is just get like a highlighter color because I also like about the picture is that there's like greenery here. So I do like that. I would want to keep that. Like so then it adds like a little bit of dimension. So I'm just gonna make like probably I'll add like spooky flowers. And I don't know if I want to keep the flowers there on the windowsill or maybe add something else. Especially, I do like the idea of like a haunted house. I may add like little ghosts or something like that. But yeah, this more or less, like, I'm happy with like the shape of it. And what you can do is you can then remove like the reference and stuff. And then if there's like empty spaces of it, then that's when you can kind of go in and be like, oh yeah, like, does this more or less look like a house or not? So I'm just gonna go in And I want to at least more or less like outline basically from like the outside in. And I'm noticing it has to be a little thinner here. And what I'm noticing is I'm missing some of yeah, so what you can do is little by little, like just start removing the reference so then you can kind of see the skeleton of what, because what a lot of people do, and I completely understand, is that when they look at a reference, they freehand it and uh, they get frustrated with not getting certain shapes right or the placement and stuff. And you can definitely study that ahead of time and look at what you can remove and not from your reference. And so there's that. Then I'm just gonna fill this in really quick. Yeah, I definitely want to keep that and that. Okay. But really studying what it is that, especially there's um, when it comes to art and when it comes to perspective and things like that, you'd be surprised, like, even when you're looking at a specific reference, like how much you can miss. Like, for example, I could look at this and if I didn't actually go in and look, like, physically, like, go in, like, I would have missed that, like, these three are actually, like, smaller than the main two, which makes sense just because one is, like, closer to, like, our viewpoint. Um, mhm. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is, now that I have at least like the basics of it, I'm going to remove it from here. Isn't it beautiful, guys? We're just gonna keep it like that. And then this is where we can go into our detail. And then we have our reference here on the side, and then we can just go on in and start zooming in and out as needed and going into that detail work. But since we have like the skeleton more or less, now we are free to freehand. So, I know, isn't this house beautiful? I mean, this is a house I totally want to live in. I was really glad when you guys like picked this one. I'm not gonna lie. Okay, I'll probably keep this one just in case, just because of measurements and stuff like that. Like, yeah, don't be scared to study your reference longer, and especially for me, infrastructure is not something I'm all too familiar with. Like, I know more or less, like I think I drew like a church once, like forever ago. Um, but that's basically like where my artistic like adventure with buildings like just stopped. Like literally, like I just. Okay, so I'm just gonna make that here, and then so these are gonna basically be like my bones of. And guys, even though it's something like where even when we're referencing something, please credit it. Like by the end of it, this was not like my photograph. This wasn't something that is my property. You know, I don't live here. I wish I did. But in a way, I guess I will live here in the sense of this stream because you guys chose this cottage for me to live in, which I'm super grateful for. But yeah, definitely credit. Any source, even models or fan art, stuff like that, you know? Not to be preachy, you know? By the end of it, you do you, but, you know, by the end of it, we're all here to learn and have a fun time. Oh, no wonder. There we go. Haha, I knew it. Let me make it. See, this is where my brain goes into like color mode. And it's like, what color do I want my haunted house to be? And probably with this tool, it would be like a lot easier to. I do want to stick to, that's why I made the background like these colors, because I'm like, I kind of want them to be like the colors that I've used for the stream so far, but with like white trimming and stuff like that. So I kind of think in colors, guys. I don't know, it like pumps me to keep trying, because I don't want to like lose the window. I'm just like, ah. But yeah, I might lift up my mic so then you guys can hear chill music, but definitely, if one of you guys were so sweet, you guys messaged me. It's like, oh, can I draw your cottage house and stuff? Like, and I was like, of course. Like, whatever it is that you guys, if you want to draw, like even like your own, uh, where you guys want to live. And also, I was joking just because on my post, I put goblins and ghouls, and then you guys are like, oh my gosh, I want to be called that. So, especially on my Instagram stuff, you guys have messaged me that like apparently you're splitting into groups of Team Monday or Team Wednesday just because just because like uh the week is split between traditional and digital art. So if you guys want to form your own teams in that, as long as it's in good fun, and I guess you guys then have to decide which team is goblins and which ones are ghouls. Like if it's Team Monday or Team Wednesday. Oh, just gonna lift my mic real quick. Um, Thankfully the fur baby is sleeping, but there's a little bit of snoring, so just gonna lift my mic. But if you guys have any questions, just be free to message me on the stream chat. Okay, so I'm just like figuring out from like the reference, like, okay. Okay, I'm like figuring out like what's tile and then what is a pillar. So, looks like there is a line here. Okay, let me see. Yeah, there's like a line here. Makes it look like a little A. Let me make that a little darker. Yeah, just in case you guys ever wonder what I'm thinking about, it's mostly like me asking myself questions, making decisions, and then trying to correct that decision in some way. Oh my, did I just? Yes, I did. Oh, I just flipped the whole thing around. Guys, I'm gonna be living in an upside down house, I guess. Oh, to tell you the truth, you can find references, to answer your question, you can find references. I found this one on a specific Facebook page, but it was connected to somebody's Tumblr, which is awesome because that means somebody is like living in this house, which is so cool. Um, but a lot of my references, I get them from Tumblr. I mean, not Tumblr, Instagram and or Pinterest. So just because you can make boards, like, and like it's kind of like a collection of references. Uh, so yeah, those are like my big two. But really anything, like even if like let's say you can't find, especially for poses, um, I recommended this site to one of my students the other day. It's dynamicposes.com. I know it's like literally it's in the name. Um, but or if you can't find anything, sorry guys, 1 second. Just seeing if okay. Let me see if it'll look better with okay. Um, yeah. So if you can't find anything, basically you can take a picture of yourself and then study that as the reference. Um, but that's what I recommend. If like let's say you can't find something, just take a picture of yourself, like, or find a friend and let them be your model. You'd be surprised like how many people are flattered at the idea of being an artistic model. But you can find some cool stuff online too. Okay, window. But yeah, that's like for me. Um, the same with tutorials on color palettes and all that stuff. Just the internet's a great tool. It's sometimes a little overwhelming, just because there's so many decisions and so many things and choices. But at the end of the day, like, you gotta do like what you feel is like your style, and it just takes practice. Like, I know it's like cliche to say it, and we always end up having TED Talks on on this channel, but you know, you guys are doing really awesome though. A lot of you guys like share share like your studies and stuff with me, which I always love seeing. I love especially your anatomy studies and stuff like that, like with dynamic poses and I'm so happy you guys are having more fun. Like a lot of people like now because we talk about Dragon Ball and stuff, they're using Goku or Bulma or something like that for their pose studies because it's true, it gets tedious, it gets repetitive. So if you want to draw, oh no, Spee, hi. I'm so sorry. I know. I apologize. The haunted house was not chosen. But I'll most likely, if anything, I'll probably choose the color palette of the other house, if that makes you feel better. It's okay. I think you know why one of the people they actually commented on it. It's because they said my voice matches this house, which I was like, that's fair. It's true. I was actually very surprised when a lot of people they chose like the fairy one. But it's okay. It's still gonna be haunted. Like the structure is gonna stay. It's just yeah. We're basically getting inspiration from the structure. But always happy to have you here, Spee. Okay, going to cut that a little bit. Okay, gonna go in now. I'm gonna go in with white to kind of fill in. Oh, very good. I'm a little sad. I'm a little sad because, well, proud of myself, number one, because I cut my grass for the very first time, which is awesome because I always had help. I always had like, but today I made it a project and I was like, okay, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna have a big girl project. And I went on ahead and cut the grass and it looks beautiful. Like there's still, we have a little um like peaks of grass like on the edges because we need to get a weed whacker, but that's another project for the weekend. Oh, thank you. But yeah, I did. I was like, because we had a lot of like, oh, thank you. It was because there was like we left half of it because it started raining yesterday, and we were like, well, okay, we're going to go on ahead and like finish it over the weekend. But I looked at that grass and I'm like, well, it's sunny right now. I'm impatient. Let's do this. And there was like little, I don't even know what to call it. They're like water beetles and they were, I'm sorry if you're eating or anything, but they were nesting in one of like the little like it wasn't even like a weed bush, but it was gross and I was like, "No, please God." It's like the grass wasn't that tall, but I guess some of the weeds in the corner of the yard like were they were just making a home there. We basically had squatters in the backyard of water beetles. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna, take it upon myself, you know, this is my turf, you know. Um, and I basically waged a war on my backyard and claimed it as my own once more. However, when I did that, my puppy took it upon himself to help himself to my um, Bluetooth headphones, and I didn't even notice until I came back to the kitchen and I found little red pieces everywhere, and I freaked out because I was like, "Oh no!" Like he, because he has a toy that's like red pieces, and I got terrified that like he ate it to pieces, you know, and but thankfully it was just the headphones that are foam and he spit all of them out, so I found every single little piece. But yeah, that wasn't my project was good, but my puppy was not happy with that. So we're working on separation anxiety today. So if you hear snoring in the background, this is why. But I hope you are having a happy Wednesday. How are you doing, Spee? I guess that's what it is. Like, and that's what's crazy. Like, he's so spoiled. Listen, I guess that's what it is. You know what? It's because I'm gonna make a dad joke. He has good taste in headphones. Oh my God. I know, I made a dad joke. So, how are you doing, Spee? How are you surviving? I was gonna say what's on the menu today. What's on the agenda today? So I'm just going in. Okay, so here's the door. Okay, I'm gonna make different. So basically, what I'm doing is going in for potential highlights, or basically, and then going in with more detail just to kind of outline more or less what we're gonna do. Oh no, what happened? Talk to me, talk to me. Well, challenges are a challenge, so. And two, you've been pretty busy, like, at least with school and stuff. And I hope the potatoes are doing good. Yeah, they did. They suspended like a lot of like we have at least here in Oki like kind of a flag system of like heat waves and stuff. And basically the hotter it gets, the darker the flag. And this whole week it's basically like black flag. Like it's basically like over 90 degrees Fahrenheit over here. Oh, you did. Oh, come on, it's okay. I mean, by the end of it, if it's a big piece, you should not beat yourself up for that. Like, no, and the important thing is that you put in the hours. I mean, if you think about it, you put in the practice. So, and it's okay if it's not finished, you know? Like, the important thing is like you either pick it up or, you know, you learn something from it. Ooh, can I ask what the piece is? I'm kind of curious. But you should not beat yourself up on that one. Especially you put in the work, my friend. I know it doesn't feel like that, but literally, because like what, you went from like sporadically drawing to like drawing every single day, and technically, if I'm gonna play devil's advocate, you did. Ooh. Oh, that is so cool. See, that's a big challenge because not only were you trying something new, but on top of that, like, I'm sure was it like a new character too on top of that, like that you've never drawn before? Oh, I love My Hero Academia too. I haven't read the manga, I just watched the Oh, I have a keychain of him. Dabi. Dabi, I think. Yeah, I just remember because there were so many memes of like, the dab. Yep, that's the one. Yeah, I just remember because like I ship him with oh my gosh, is her name Hitomi? The one that she eats blood with the pigtails? I had many fan arts of such characters. Oh, and the cosplay. I'm telling you, if you ever want references, like for real good ones, there's a lot of really good cosplays of Dobby too. In case like you ever want to like practice your. Ooh, but I'm so excited for you. That sounds really fun. Okay, so I'm just outlining just to get a better picture. I'm not gonna lie, like you caught me definitely in a stream where I have no idea what I'm doing because I have never drawn a building in my life, like digitally. Like I want to say the last time I did anything building wise was when I was like maybe eighth grade. So a lot of this practices I'm doing is from literally like things that I do for studying like real life, like people. So I'm like, yeah, we'll see if this. Oh, yay, good. I'm so happy. Yes, we are. I want you to feel pumped and positive, and you're going to kick this challenge's butt. And it's okay. I mean, I'm telling you, it's perfectly fine if you ever get in a slump. It's totally normal because you have to think of it like working out a little bit, you know? You're exercising those muscles again, and you're not going to be able to marathon, especially it's ambitious what you're doing, you know? So you got to give yourself credit. Especially think about it. If it's a new character, if it's a new form of medium that you're trying, um, there's going to be some days that they're not like others, and that's okay. The important thing is like you don't give up and don't beat yourself up. Mind you, I feel like the biggest hypocrite because literally like 2 seconds ago I got so nervous with my jelly gouache and all the traditional stuff that I've been doing that I'm just like, oh my goodness, this is awful. Oh my goodness, this is awful. Oh, what am I doing? I don't know. I feel like a fraud. It is. I don't know what it is about being in like yes, it's so true. No, it's like I literally treat myself like I am not worthy of like picking up a brush and like it's true. I get self-conscious about it even though like when I paint and stuff I'm literally by myself and no, especially even before a stream, I was like contemplating, I'm like, okay, how much should I have? I did because even when I started streaming, what I would do is I would over prepare to the point where I want to say 60% of my drawing or something was already done. And I was like, wait, I can't, if I can't fail on stream, I can't make fun of myself. And, that's not what I'm trying to, um, like, emit in my stream, Like, I want you guys to feel comfortable and feel like it's okay to do these things. So, and, experiment and, oh, I don't like this line, so let's like go ahead and, fix it up or tune it up like this, and let's see like how this looks and have fun. But I gotta learn that with myself. Oh, thank you. That's so sweet. I think it's because it's important to chill. It's important to like go on ahead and mess up and draw the lines and the happy clouds and the sad clouds and oh, I do love Bob Ross. That's very sweet because I do love me some Bob Ross. He is a legend and have you ever seen his animal videos? He has animal videos out there like where he has I think like pet squirrels and stuff. Yes, it is. It's a lot of happy accidents. And it is. It's like believe it or not, sometimes you end up with something better than what you had before. And it just takes a little bit of patience, a little bit of. Yes, it's so cute. He had pet squirrels, and I think there's even one, which funny enough, he has there's a Twitch stream that airs his old episodes, and it's really cute. And he had one where I forget if it was like squirrels or like flying squirrel something. It was really really cute, and he brought them onto his show once. Oh, I'm kind of liking that. Yep, happy accidents. You know what? I should do that for one stream where I try and follow Bob Ross's tutorial of especially like how he does the mountains and stuff. I've always wanted to learn how to do that. Oh, really? I didn't even know he had a son. Ooh, I gotta look that up. Oh, here I was thinking of like anytime you say like son, I thought of like like a toddler for whatever reason. And it's like, oh wait, Bob Ross was older, so probably. Oh really? That's so cool. And my favorite part is always when I forget like what he would say anytime he had to like clean his brush, and he would be like, "Oh, you have to beat the devil." Oh no, that's perfectly fine. Oh, that's so cool. Oh, I gotta look that up. I will. You know what? That'll be like a fun stream to do, like following one of Bob Ross's. He was the king. I always wonder what it would be like for Bob Ross if he knew what anime was. I always wonder that with the same like with traditional artists and stuff, if anime was a thing back then. It was funny because I actually found out there's a Discord that I follow on um, that they talk about like art tips and things like that. And they were posting one of Da Vinci's like sketches and things like that for references for whatever reason, or they were just making fun of it or something. And somebody put like the cat sketches of Da Vinci, and I was like, wait, he drew cat? For whatever reason, I kept thinking, I was like, oh, he just drew people, and but like the idea that he drew like little cute kitties. Some of them look really scary, I have to admit. Like they're the thing of nightmares. Like I don't know if you know about the musical Cats. Like Nightmare Fuel, you know? Okay, not bad, not bad. Yes, it was. It was a cursed thing. It was. Oh boy, have you ever watched the movie? Like, I don't know. For me, people, it was kind of around the time where people were making fun of Sonic and the Cats movie, but I never like. I want to say it was just. I don't know if it's because like they shut down theaters by the time we were like in North Carolina, I think. Or it was because we were living in the middle of nowhere again, and like we just weren't near like movie theaters. Oh wow, there's a lot of wait. I'm like looking at the reference. I'm like, geez, there's a lot of flowers. I definitely want to put like spooky things. Like there's gonna be flowers, but there's most likely going to be like lots of bats and ghosts and whatnot. Possibly an iron gate. Yeah, yeah. It's like I guess because I'm not a musical person, like I'm trying to think of the closest musical that I'm just not like I'm trying to think. I guess that's why even there's some Disney movies and stuff that I'm just meh about. Like I like more like Don Bluth like I'm not sure if you're familiar. It's like Anastasia or The Secret of Nim or All Dogs Go to Heaven. Uh like it's almost like if you think about it like kind of I wouldn't say like creepier Disney. But those are really good movies. I love those movies. I would recommend them. Uh, Probably not for children like under 8 years old, because they're nightmare fuel, but like in a good way. But I just never liked music. I'm sure there's good musicals out there. I just never like I would watch the Nutcracker. Like my mom and I we've gone to ballet. I love ballets. Ballets are beautiful. Um, but I don't know if I want this. Let me see. Mm, mm, Probably. I'm thinking cemetery. Like basically just putting stuff just to like simulate the. I'll probably put like spooky spooks in the. But definitely, if you guys have musicals that you would recommend for a heathen like myself, because I am uncultured and I know not of this world, um, we probably have to add a spooky tree. Actually, yeah, spooky tree may need to happen. Oh, Spee, I'm so sorry. I'm gonna have to let you go in a little bit just because I am making the dinner. I'm making stuffed shells. Oh no, don't worry about it. Oh, of course. And I'm telling you, Spee, anytime, let's say if you need any help with stuff, my Instagram is always open. I know the time difference can get us, but if it's something that you ever need any help or, my Insta is always open, and I gotta go. I'm making stuffed shells today, and it's a process. It's basically ricotta cheese and like meat sauce with ground beef and stuff. But since we have like a Japanese oven that's like a microwave and an oven, it takes me a lot longer to figure out Celsius and stuff like that. So before I feed my family, um, frozen beef. Like I always have to kind of like play around with like the oven and stuff. But always, guys, thank you so much, especially since my puppies are eating headphones now. I need to be more attentive. Oh no, they're just feeding off of sick beats now. But thank you guys always so much. I'm gonna most likely finish this up after I make dinner. But thank you guys so much for helping me out, like figure how to uh, basically how to building and figuring out all this good stuff. But I will most likely post this, and then I'm finishing up the mushrooms from Monday. But definitely, you'll probably see me again tomorrow or Friday for a surprise stream, depending on how the rest of my week plays out. But thank you guys always so much for coming on, for tuning in, for giving such lovely support here on the channel. Definitely, if you guys ever need to reach me, I have an Instagram by the same Haunted Goose. If you want to tune in for next week for some more traditional and digital art shenanigans while we're here, and then talk about dank memes or accursed musicals. You can always catch me on Mondays and Wednesdays. We finally got a good schedule down for 2 p.m. Japanese Standard Time. But definitely stick around for more news on that. And thank you guys so, so much as always. And I'll see you guys next week. Bye.